Well, it's September 9th, and as you can see, we have got our packs on. Rio and Wyatt are packed up. I've got a pack on, and we're headed up there. We scouted this area the other day. There's some snowcock at the top here. It's been 3 years since we've attempted a pack in on these birds, and we tried to lighten the pack a little bit. One thing we did learn definitely is heavy is your enemy out here. We've got 1,800 vertical feet to go. The dogs are each carrying about 10% of their body weight and their own food, essentially. Got enough supplies for 5 days. We're going to try and get to above 10,000 feet where the water is, or at least where it runs out. But so we'll have a water source up there. When I scouted the other day, there were birds up there, and so we're going to go see if we can get on them. But we've got a pretty bad haul going uphill here. My pack probably weighs in at right around 47 pounds with the gun and ammo. So I'd say it's going to be a tough little workout. Main thing today is to get up there and get camp set up. So no time like the present. Here we go. So sit down, miss. Taking a little break. About a third of the way up. The good news is there's a little trickle of water running down here in this cut that these two can dip into every now and then. But you get up here a little ways and it gives you a better perspective of where we're headed. We'll take a little 5-10 minute break here, let everybody get your breath again, and we'll start back. Well, we've made it to our camp spot. This is the highest point where water is. About 10,200 feet. I've already taken the packs off, and I've already seen my birds. Way up there in the distance, they jumped off a cliff over there and flew to that face, which I believe is reachable. Now, I don't know how we're going to sneak up on them, but to see them in here first thing when we get in here, I'm pretty stoked. I'll tell you, that climb, it just takes it out of you. Tomorrow we'll probably just glass the entire day and try and figure out how many birds we've got up here and where they're flying to and from, hopefully feeding down too. The dogs will definitely need a break. My legs will definitely need a break. It's funny. For 8 weeks prior to coming up here, I worked out 7 days a week, and you just can never be too prepared. You get up here at 10,000 feet, oxygen levels about 25% less, and you can see the grade we're going to have to climb. I figure to even have a shot at these birds, we're going to end up climbing another 600 to 800 vertical. I hope they fly lower than that, but I'm just stoked I've already seen them. I know that they're still in here. We haven't spooked them out. We didn't spook them out the other day, so now we'll just set up camp and we'll give the dogs a rest. Well, it's just 4 o'clock now, and as you can see, the sun has dipped below our peak. I think the most encouraging thing is the other day when I was up here scouting, I only saw 3 birds, and within the first half hour of setting up camp today, I saw 10. And they're all trading back and forth between those peaks up there. But I think I can get to them. And then the other really cool thing is right down here at camp, we're set up now, as you can see. But we've got feathers right here. And somewhat fresh sign. And it's all around us. So that means we're right here where the birds live. And I've been listening to them call up here this evening. Sounds like they're ways up there in the cliffs, but I can't wait till we get a chance to look at these guys tomorrow and try and figure a plan to get close to them. And you never know, maybe they'll just come right down to us. But I doubt it. So, last night we were sitting up here by this rock and making dinner. And we saw a golden eagle at the top of the valley. He was flying around the cliffs that we've been watching where these birds are. And he spooked 9 birds off into the next circle. They just disappeared, and we thought he probably blew it for us. At least on those birds, the ones we've been watching. Of course, we got in the tent. Sunset's about 7. We got in the tent at about 7:30. We heard a whole other group fly in. Couldn't tell exactly where. We were in the tent, but we knew there were birds trading back in here, so that was good news. I hope we get a chance to hear some of those birds and get that on video. They have the strangest calls. Really something that's otherworldly. Somewhere between an elk call and seagull, I guess. It's just the strangest thing, impossible to imitate. So we're up this morning. We heard a calling this morning at 5:50, which is about 15 minutes before sunrise. So they're here. They're in our circle. I haven't seen them yet this morning, but before I could get out of the tent, I heard some of those fighter jets coming right across the top. I heard their wings. So I hope that means that some of them are below us now. Obviously we've got the gun out. Not really planning to do a lot of hunting today, planning to do a lot of watching today. I want to try and figure out where these birds are going to and from. But in the event, maybe we'll be ready for something else. But it's great to be in a place where these birds are living. Way more like a part of what they're doing than just trying to sneak around and get lucky. So, that's it. Well, the good news is we've seen about 20 birds today. Since we rolled out, it was really quiet between when we heard the birds fly down this morning and buzz the tent and about noon. And then we started seeing birds again. They were way up in cliffs that we can't get to. But there's been some trading around again this afternoon and birds flying back and forth. And so that's good news. We just kind of took it easy today. You really don't realize how much that kind of climb takes out of you until you try and go downhill. And we went over and sat in some shade here just a little while ago, because up here shade is at a premium, and coming down from that little uphill there gives you a pretty good idea knees are screaming a little bit, but it's all part of the fun, I guess. And the plan tomorrow is we'll actually go after these birds and head uphill, try and get between them and places they want to be. That's the current plan, but of course if they elect to come down and buzz the tower in the morning, we're going to be ready for them tomorrow morning with the shotgun right there. So we'll cook a little dinner. The sun's about to go behind the mountain. It's going to get cold, and Rio's getting messed with little marmots, so she's ready to go. But a good first day up at elevation. Well, it's been just about like clockwork, really. Started at about 5:50 again. They started calling. The sun isn't quite over the top of the mountains yet. They've been jumping off these peaks and flying across on the back side of that peak over there. Rio's up here hunting marmots. Wyatt's down here with me. Just kind of watching. We know there's at least 3 or 4 more up in there that are calling right now. And if they follow suit, they're going to jump off this mountain and just glide clear across over there. Luckily, there's a nice little gap that we can get through right there. Don't know what it looks like on the other side, but because we know so many birds are over there now, that's probably the new plan this morning. But right now, we're just going to look and see how many more we can see. Climbed out to that gap that I talked about earlier this morning. You can see camp all the way down there in the basin. This backside is a whole different look. It's kind of crazy. Extremely steep, as you can tell. Almost vertical faces there, but also little gaps, the same kind that we see on this side where we've been seeing those birds. We're going to sit here and glass for a little while and see if we can see any of these birds on those faces over there. The other real hope is that one of the birds from this side makes a mistake and comes flying through our gap, or birds fly around into this face and land over there. There's a possibility we could get there, but there's a better possibility I'm shooting right from here. So we'll just sit here and hang out for a little while. I haven't heard them for a bit now, which is consistent with what we heard yesterday. After the sun came up, they just shut down until around noon. But we've got water and snacks, and so we'll just sit up here in the shade, and hopefully we'll get one to play with us. Be able to spot one that we can reach. Our friend the golden eagle came back by. Unfortunately, he flushed birds that went that way, all the way to the other peak, and not down by us. This eagle, he is giving these birds heck. And, he didn't chase them, but he let them know that he was there. We're going to head back down to camp, all the way down to the bottom. descent during the middle of the day. And so tomorrow we'll climb to elevation later in the afternoon and hope that we can get all these birds when early evening rolls in. But 5 hours up here, the dogs are ready to take a break. But it is a nice place to hang out. It's our third full morning here at elevation, and it was eerily quiet this morning. For the last 2 mornings, these birds have been waking us up with their calls at about 1/4 till sunrise. This morning, dead silence. And finally, we just heard a single bird somewhere at the very top calling out. There's a lot of debate about whether these birds fly to water in the morning. And one thing we definitely know is that they are roosting near the top and flying somewhere every morning. The first day we were here, we probably saw close to 25 birds, and yesterday we saw about half that many. And so you can go, well, what's the change? Weather's pretty consistent. No other outside factors to really think of besides that green dome tent over there down here by the highest water that they could possibly get to in this cirque. There's probably other trickles up there, and whether it's the water that they're focusing on or something else, it's really hard to say, but it's kind of tough to ignore that we've gone from 25 to 13 in 2 mornings where we've heard calls to a morning where we've heard next to none, and realize that the only difference is that we're here in this cirque. Obviously they can't see us as a threat. Most of the time these birds are 800, maybe even 1,000 feet above us when we're seeing them. So it's not a threat issue as much as it seems to be an interruption of what their daily patterns are. At least that's my guess. We're going to hang out today and see if this is true. It really makes a big difference as to how you would hunt these things backcountry. Where you would camp in relation to where you're trying to shoot birds. And it's all part of the learning curve, and we're certainly having a great time figuring that out. We've got a dog that's become obsessed with hunting marmots or voles or whatever living in those slides, and so when we haven't been climbing, she's been climbing. So she's managed to make her feet pretty sore. I don't know what that means for us in terms of what we're going to be able to accomplish today. We still have to be able to make it down the hill with packs on tomorrow, so we're going to kind of wait and see. It's quiet in this cirque this morning, and I think that has to do with us. But maybe we can get one more climb in and get lucky and find out. Birds definitely trade back and forth. You know, they have no hesitation whatsoever to fly, and they can fly forever. They just jump off a cliff and glide to the next mountain. So if we've pushed them off their normal habits in this cirque, they've just flown around the corner into the next one and are doing what they do over there. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to trade back into these mountains today, because we've seen it. The eagles keep some form of pressure on these birds at all times, and are forcing them to move during the middle of the day. They aren't just sitting in one spot, so we may try and get up the hill over there. I'm going to have to watch the dogs and see where we are with the feet and make sure that we've got enough legs to get down the hill tomorrow, but I'll keep you posted. Well, got one dog that's really footsore. We went to our lookout this morning. Spent most of the morning up there and only saw 3 birds. And been watching our eagle hunt our peaks over here, and he hasn't even bumped anything off. The other thing we've really been watching is there's a level of clouds way up that's blowing in right now. And I started watching my barometer on my Phoenix, which is dropping. So we're taking that as a sign that it's probably time to get off this mountain. I don't know if there's a storm blowing in or not. The problem is we're expected down off the mountain tomorrow, and if a storm were to blow in tonight, getting off this mountain would be pretty tough. So the fact that our bird count has gone from 25 all the way down to 3, and what appears like a possible storm, I think it's a good sign to get off the mountain. We're going to pack it up and try and get down. It's going to be a leg burner getting out of here, but hopefully we can manage it. Well, that's it. We made it down the hill. It's been, I think, 15 days. No shave, no shower, no shots, no snowcock. Part 1 of this hunt's over. We saw probably 40 birds in this pack in, and can't be disappointed by that at all. Feel like I'm really learning a lot about how they react, how they act. How's the slog? Gotta go talk to some folks about the Upland stamp next. But super excited about how the first part of this trip went. Be back in a few days after the dogs take a rest and do it all over again. Maybe have a little bit more powder burning.